I got something to tell you that's no joke. The Blues Brothers is mighty fine smoke. Would we give something to your customers that they could choke on? No! We give them something they can toke on. It's woke smoke. It is no toke.
We are the best in the north, the east, the south, and the west. It tastes good in your mouth for your customers. It's what you want on the shelves, and we can get it there because this strain is bound for glory. This strain is bound for glory. This strain, yes sir, yes sir.
Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 33, where we watch Growing Belushi, Season 2, Episode 2. I'm Chris Lorenz, and that intro was a reference to our show.
This is Brian.
I haven't been in Chris's bedroom, but I'm sure there's a picture of Guy Fieri in there. This is Noah Singer.
This is Max. I have been in Chris's bedroom.
And there is a picture. Anyway, each week we watch a different reality show discussing in minute detail, figuring if it's good or bad. And last week we watched Ready to Love, and we had a poll on Twitter, and we had a tie on Twitter. We had a top third and a middle third.
Oh.
They tied. You know, there's still time. If you do it tomorrow, you can end the tie. We can talk about it. But if you want to tell us what you thought about this show, go to our Twitter at Who Put This On and vote on the poll. And Noah, what is the show we watched?
Yeah. Jim Belushi is a man of many talents: actor, singer, dancer, and now legal cannabis farmer. Follow Jim, his family, and their dedicated team as Belushi's Farms as they make their mark in the industry and spread the benefits of legalized marijuana and growing Belushi on Discovery Plus, like everything else in the future.
This is not what I thought the show was going to be going into it.
What did you think the show was going to be?
I thought they were going to have a giant test tube where they were growing a clone of Jim Belushi. And it was called Growing Belushi.
Now I'd watch the hell out of that.
But wouldn't you grow a clone of John Belushi, not Jim Belushi?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Maybe once they grow Jim, then they can grow John. You know, once they got the process perfected, you know.
Yeah, you can't risk the tough subject.
Yeah, that is very fair.
Anyway, yeah, the show's not very good, but so it's just Jim. Now I'm confused between Jim and John. They hate you guys. Jim, and he like just has weird storylines on this farm, and they're not very good storylines. They jump all over the place all the time. So I'm sure we'll also jump all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But we picked this particular episode because Guy Fieri is on the episode.
Fieri.
And it's a cross promotion between this show and apparently some sort of Guy Fieri show that I've never heard of that maybe we need to do.
It's
a
Pacific Northwest road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll look on the internet, you know, as I do. See if I can find what to.
So should we talk about our Jim Belushi experience here? Feel that it seems appropriate.
Yeah.
So I watched his sitcom According to Jim. I think that's really where I know him from.
I definitely watched that sitcom, but I was too young to really appreciate Jim Belushi, and I really thought that was just like, it's an okay sitcom.
Yeah, I don't really have many memories of the sitcom. I just like you told me Jim Belushi. It's like, oh yeah, this sitcom that he was in.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was first exposed to John Belushi growing up with Animal House specifically, and so Jim always felt like this, like, oh yeah, that's John's brother. But then I think Jim definitely came into his own once he got the sitcom. Like it was just kind of everywhere, and it was very sitcom-y. Like I don't think there was anything necessarily notable that it fit its whole very well.
Yeah. Max, do you know who Jim Belushi is?
Yeah, Jim Belushi. I've seen him around. You know, he's Jim Belushi.
Okay. His IMDb top 4 is very surprising. His sitcom is not in the top 4. It's Red Heat, K9, Retroactive, and Little Shop of Horrors.
He's in Little Shop of Horrors. Wow.
And I've seen 0 of those movies.
Interesting.
3 of them are in the mid to late 80s, and one of them is in 1997. So like According to IMDb, this dude peaked in 1988.
I mean, it was definitely. I mean, Belushi in general, like as a brand. I'm just shocked he was on Hey Arnold. He was in the Hey Arnold movies, on the TV show, as Coach Wittenberg.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Yeah,
And Ah, Real Monsters. Wow.
he does a lot of voice work, it seems.
What a storied career.
I mean,
Feel
his
like-
voice is very good. He has a very good voice.
Voice work is definitely something I think I would do if I got big from something else, then move into voice work. Like, easy money.
Mm-hmm.
Or easier money, you know. Anyway, so we definitely think this is a downgrade for the host of Jim Belushi. So we're just gonna move on from there. Let's talk about some of these plot lines here. So the biggest and best plot line we have is Dan Aykroyd. So Dan Aykroyd rolls up on this farm, and apparently Dan Aykroyd gave Jim some seeds to grow some weed, and then Jim Belushi proceeds to try to grow them outside, which, from what I could tell, weed growing outside doesn't sound like a great idea. A, because these ones died, and B, he has a grow house that has all the weed in it. So it seems like Jim just didn't give a fuck about this like thing with Dan Aykroyd. Unclear. Apparently, Dan gave it to Jim to get the Blues Brothers branding to use for the Blues Brothers weed. And this is like this weird storyline where Dan Aykroyd looked really sad when he found out the weed was dead. But these are actors, so how much do you believe any of this at all?
My understanding was that Jim Belushi went down to Colombia to get these seeds.
Right.
Oh, yeah. This is previous episodes we didn't watch. Probably explains this.
They talked about it.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
This was a previously on, but anyway, yeah, this is all fake drama of like, I got some seeds, they didn't work, we'll try again next season. With this, like, oh, is he going to revoke the usage of the Blues Brothers brands to me? No, of course not.
And he repeated it like 18 times. Like it's repetition in this show is awful.
Yeah,
it's all
so bad.
Fake ass drama. Every single plot point. I
definitely wrote at some point, I think the entire thing is just fake. Like, it seems like that more than any other point, it's fake, but then like they ham it up to be like comedic, and it just kills it.
Yeah,
there's only one moment where I'm like, okay, maybe this is not fake.
And you've already heard the jingle.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode's kind of weird. It's the episode's kind of in two parts. There's this like Dan Aykroyd part
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Dan Aykroyd part.
But it feels less like a reality show and more like a scripted show that happens to be shot like a reality show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good. There's like this whole thing where the other section of this Dan Aykroyd part is like they go to this weed store called Nectar, and they like aren't taking Jim Belushi's won't answer his phone calls and won't take his product. So they get Dan Aykroyd to go to this weed store, and then they wait inside and they don't see him. Then they wait outside in their car waiting for him to leave. And then they sing this jingle that you've heard. And then the dude has the best line in the whole show. What was it, Brian?
What the fuck was that?
It was so good. Like this is the only unscripted moment probably in the whole fucking show. As this dude looks so bewildered. Because
it's so confusing.
Jim and Dan are sitting out in this fucking car, getting high as a kite, fucking writing this fucking weird ass commercial jingle that is so bad. It was just so good. This is by far the best part of this whole show.
Dan Aykroyd was absolutely pulling his weight this entire episode.
He's not in it very much, though.
He's not. But he's clearly the highlight.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I had another Dan Aykroyd highlight from this. When they were into Nectar, he had on a Skull vodka cap. For those unaware, this is another one of his ventures where this very terrible vodka was packaged up in a crystal skull, and it had all these gimmicks. But me being a sucker in college, I really wanted that. And so when I got some and tried it and found it was awful,
It was
I
really,
learned not to give into this stuff.
it was really
It's
bad. It was a
it's
life
that
lesson
bad.
you learned. It was
It
not
was
good.
bad.
It's not good.
I feel like vodka is like it's pretty easy to pass for like
Yeah,
okay, this is
it's
fine.
pretty easy to pass for just passable vodka. You're not looking. That $10 bottle of vodka is awful.
Yeah,
The $20 one is fine. Like
yeah.
Like,
Dude, apparently Crystal Head vodka still operates. I had no idea.
I'm on their website.
maybe
I
they
haven't
made it
seen
better.
it
Who
in
knows?
years.
yeah. Anyway,
Well,
it was
one thing about the Nectar guy. It's unclear how that got set up because the Nectar guy, he had an Adidas shirt on, and it had a little logo on his sleeve, but they intentionally taped it over. So he was clearly getting prepped to go into a scene, but still was just like not having it.
he looked. There's no way he knew what he was walking into. That's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
But like this whole plotline was also stupid. They were just like, yeah, because he didn't give them the enough weed and like on time is really what this weed store was like, dude, like it's fine, but or your weed's fine, but give it to me on time. Like I'm guessing we like previous episodes that made it seem like they were failing at this business a little bit and shortchanged some people is what they said. But
seemed like it.
I don't know. No one cares. Who knows if this is real?
I mean,
No.
I bet it's following like some of the same stuff. Like it's just a gimmick thing. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Jim Belushi's in it. Let's get this weed." And then of course, like it's okay. Like, and then they want more of it. But when you can't get the distribution going, you're gonna fail. And it's really surprising. That's also fake. Where Jim could not have been more off the mark. He had to have known that it was distribution causing the problems.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but distribution causing problems also makes you lose customers.
Yes, but like they
So,
didn't need to
like-
like make a pitch for that.
They needed stuff for the show, Brian. Come on.
So my hunch is that Dan Aykroyd does not want to do reality TV. That is my hunch. Like, because Jim Belushi's obviously in it. He's getting this whole Discovery show. My hunch is that Dan's like, fuck that. I don't have enough time for this reality bullshit. Just give me some lines. Give me a script. Knock it out. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
It definitely seems like Dan is like, hey, let's go hang out with my friend Jim. And like Jim's like, you got to come to this farm. And then Jim just shoves him in the show, whether he wants to be or not.
Yeah. It's unclear. Because, I mean, Dan, like, plays a character in the show. He gets out of the car.
100%.
He does a little dance and song. Like,
You gotta be a character. Gotta be.
He's
but
having
anyway-
a great whole time.
We talked about the best part of the show. Let's move on to Jared. So we got Jared is Jim's son. He's some LA guy, and repeatedly Jim tells us that he's some LA guy. I don't know if he can handle on this farm. He's from LA. We don't know if he's got the work ethic to be on this farm, guys. We don't know.
Thought it was Brooklyn.
No,
no,
he's from LA.
LA.
Come on, Brian.
He definitely mentioned about a Brooklyn kid.
Nope, he did not. He said LA, West LA or something. You probably got confused. Anyway, so he comes in and does like the shit work on the farm, supposedly. In his confessionals, he's always like, I want this farm. This is I want this. When Jim dies, I want this farm. And I find that morbid and funny, but weird at the same time. Like, is Jim not going to give you enough money in the will? Do you need the farm too?
This was another just like fake drama of like, hey, let's cut together some footage of this kid doing some work, and is he gonna get the farm? Who knows?
Oh yeah. I mean, this
And
whole
we'll never
show is
revisit it again.
this whole show is like all those weird reality show like cookie cutter crap that you pull from the cookie cutter pile.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not even that like good. There's no tension in the drama. It comes off so poor, and I think it provides a good contrast to the Guy Fieri part of the show, which I think actually goes a million times better.
Yeah, because Guy Fieri is an expert in reality shows.
There was
Yeah.
a shocking amount of like celebrity star power in this episode.
Yeah, that's true. So like Jared, his main storyline, it seems, other than this like working piece and trying to get the farm, he has to make sure that so Larry Joe Campbell, the other star of Jim's sitcom, what was the sitcom again?
According to Jim.
According to Jim, he just randomly fucking shows up in this episode, like out of nowhere. And then we're like, do I know that guy? I know that guy, right? And then at some point, Jared has to get him off the set or like out of the way when Guy Fieri is there for some reason, and then locks him in this barn somehow, which A, I'm sure you can't get locked in. 100% sure you can't get locked in. And then B, it's just so weird. This is just like neat excuse for him not to be there. Or I don't know. I don't get this at all. No, explain this to me.
Yeah, it seems like they tape this probably like not even linear. Like I think they probably shoot a lot of these like cut sequences with Larry. Like Larry's at the farm for a week. He's like, Larry, you're kind of funny. Let's just shoot all this shit, and then when we can insert it in the show, we're just gonna put it in there because it has nothing to do with the plot. I think they just like shove it in.
They must. I just the show. I don't get it. We're going all over the place. That's all Larry was in, right?
Yeah.
Well, he had this like story arc. It was like he likes making fun of Jared, and just like, oh, you seem like you can use a hand. Well, good luck finding someone. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's more shitty jokes from like according to Jim. That style.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some part where they had to brand some cows. I don't know. That's what I wrote down.
Was this guy on according to Jim?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Man, I'm just surprised that Jim Belushi's like, I don't know, the cult of loyalty he's gathered. Like that show is old.
He seems like a good friend. It seems what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like you get Dan Aykroyd to come visit you in fucking Oregon. Like you either really love fucking weed or like you're really good friends with Jim Belushi. Like
Larry's been on 4 episodes of this series.
All right.
like especially I mean you work with a guy for like what 9-10 years or something.
Oh yeah.
Like if you don't make friends with him, like I mean it's easy to make friends at that point, right? And then you come have some weed at the Oregon farm or whatever. The other storyline that was might be the worst storyline of any reality show I've ever fucking seen was they're building some sort of research barn and they kept cutting to this fucking thing. It was awful. It was like showing them putting in the like foundation and then Jim's just walking around playing with shit. And then he's like, literally, there's a segment of the show where he's in this barn and he just shows tools. He's like, this is a hammer. This is a nail. I don't give a fuck, Jim. What is going on with the editing of the show is terrible.
Weed.
So bad. So bad.
Yeah.
And then we see it built, like kind of mostly built, like quarter of it half built.
Like the skeleton. Yeah, the skeleton was built.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God. And they kept repeating themselves over and over and over and over again about this stupid research barn. I can't stand it.
It's nuts how often they repeat stuff, given that there's only 3 episodes a season.
Wait, there's 3 episodes in a season?
So there have been 2 seasons, and there are 3 episodes per season, each 40 minutes long.
I didn't know that. Wow.
It's so bad. I've never seen a reality show repeat themselves this much.
No.
And how many have we seen?
I mean,
All
it's just
right.
a show about a couple guys getting high and getting a weed farm.
I think the show would have been better if we just watched them get high and talk to Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, I think I found.
What are
Oh
you doing?
no, what?
Okay. So, prior to growing Belushi, there was building Belushi.
What?
Yep.
What the fuck is that?
Yep. So, building Belushi is building the farm.
Oh my god, no.
So
What?
so Jim Belushi, improvement enthusiast. He owns 13 acres in Oregon, and this documents how he constructs his dream retreat cabin on the site.
That dude was having trouble figuring out like some of these tools. You cannot see he's a home improvement enthusiast.
He's just paying people, Brian. That's what that show is. If this show is a modicum of good, maybe we would have watched it. We could have done the Jim Belushi like universe.
That is another irritating thing. If you're talking about building the farm, just put it in Growing Belushi season 0.
I mean, it was one season for 6 episodes.
Yeah, he did not need to do that.
Doesn't matter. Let's talk about the other best segment of the episode where Guy Fieri rolls up.
Yeah.
And there seemed to be this weird thing with this guy named Chris, the chef. He seemed really like he was truly trying to. He loves Guy Fieri. He was trying to step up the kitchen game. He was like, they spent a bunch of money renovating this kitchen, and like we saw this guy stress out for like 30 minutes, multiple times, repeated himself. Oh my god, we're repeating. Anyway, Guy Fieri shows up and fucking like 2 like campers or whatever, and they talk about how he comes with all of his cooking setup in one of these campers. It's like, why did you have to spend so much money on the kitchen? But regardless, they show Chris making some sort of dish,
Byrek.
some sort of Albanian.
Yeah. It's pronounced Byrek, but they keep saying like Burek. Like it's
I mean I'm butchering the pronunciation for sure, but
we're not Albanian. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was like some sort of pastry. Seemed similar to like a.
Well, it was pastry, crust and dough, but with a savory filling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Savory Pop-Tart.
Seeing like spanakopita a little bit, but like more of like a full on like sandwich in there a little bit. Anyway, he makes that, and Jim cuts in, and he was all pissed off. And then Guy tries it, and of course, Guy loves it. He doesn't love. He loves everything. There's nothing. I've never seen Guy Fieri not love something. Ever.
Does he always? So I haven't watched enough Guy content because he's like, this is like, he talks about like the ice creams, like best coffee ice cream, and he says this is like, does he always say everything's best, or is that actually special?
That's his gimmick. His gimmick is he goes into the restaurants and like pumps them up. He's like, yeah, this is Greece is great. This is the best cheese, like whatever ever.
I see.
That's awesome. Like you see, like some other shows like critiquing and burning it.
Yeah, you don't need him to come in and say shit is bad. Like you don't need that. You just go in and he tries your best dish, and like he'll say positive things about it. That's it. That's what he does. So the fact that he said this Albanian dish is great doesn't really mean anything.
That's also, a Burek's rule.
I didn't. What was that?
That said, Burek's, the thing they were eating, the Albanian dish, rules.
Okay.
Yep.
You've had it.
There's a place that serves them on. It's by Seattle U.
Oh, we'll put it on the list. Then they make this ice cream. This Blues Brothers infused weed ice cream, and they make some sort of what do they call it?
Yeah, one was like chicken, and the other one was something else.
French roast coffee ice cream. So they put pure weed in while they're making it, and they use the cherry pie weed strain, and they make this ice cream, and Guy loves it. Meanwhile, we swap back and forth with other scenes. Like it's not just like we get to watch them make this ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying.
One thing that was really irritating about this, like Jim just being like a whole hog of the spotlight, and he's still making the fucking ice cream. Chill, dude. You don't need to be there for like everything.
But that's him. That was him in the sitcom. I just assume that's just his personality.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it briefly and being the episode of repetition. And this episode really was like when Guy Fieri came on, it was enjoyable to watch. The rest of it was not enjoyable.
No.
Yep.
There's also, I think it ends with him and Guy on like chairs, smoking cigars and drinking wine, and then guy tells like a terrible joke, and that's how the episode ends.
It was a decent joke.
All these jokes about like, I don't really know about my family. I'm gonna like blow them to like get what I want. They're shitty jokes.
I
Like,
mean,
'cause-
they don't keep up with the times well, but it's a good storytelling joke.
Well, there you go. That's how, if you want a good joke, Noah knows it. Maybe we should have Noah Ocho the joke for us.
Oh no, it's all right.
See, there you go.
We start with the jingle. We can go out with the joke, Noah.
I made very clearly the joke did not keep up with the times.
Yeah.
But you said it was good.
That doesn't mean it's not a good joke.
Oh, okay. Oh,
The
that's
worst
how this
part is that
works.
Jim Belushi said he's the one who originally told it to Guy. So
Do you
here
think
he is
that's
listening
true?
to his own joke.
I don't know how true that is.
Either way, like it was also kind of surprising for Guy. I didn't really take him as like that type of humor, so took him down a notch.
This is Guy After Dark.
Yeah.
Guy with the Cuban cigs.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Guy's son. He's
Hunter
like
Fury.
Hunter Fieri. Yeah, like he seems to really be trying to get into the family business.
That was his son?
Yes.
Yeah,
didn't know
the
that.
guy with the exact same sunglasses was his son.
The tall guy? Well, they didn't intro him.
No, they did.
That's how we knew his name.
They did? Brian, did you notice this?
I did miss that, but I figured like something was up.
Yeah.
I thought he just worked on the farm.
No.
Well, that makes way more sense because he was really in there.
Yeah, they introed him quickly, so easy to miss it. But yeah, Hunter, and yeah, I love he has the Flavor Town shirt on. He's got the sunglasses. He has like the slick back hair. Like he is ready to step in Papa's shoes.
But counterpoint, like if you're on that show, like you gotta that's the uniform. Everybody's rocking it.
I mean, if your dad was Guy Fieri, you're definitely hopping into this Flavor Town brand for sure. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, no, I just didn't know, and it sounded hysterical. Like, okay, we got the next in line.
I tried to be on that TikTok with the Guy Fieri Flavor Town brand for sure.
Yeah.
Flavor talk.
We ready for questions? Anyone got any other minutia they need to talk about? Do we need to repeat ourselves some more? Should we?
No, let's
Questions
so
it
let's
is.
go with what?
What question?
What was the question?
Oh no, I'm saying let's move on to questions.
No.
Okay.
Let's do worst human being. And is it Jim?
Yep. I think he just hogs the spotlight too much and has really shitty jokes. Well, I guess no. Dan did the one.
I mean, Guy had that one bad joke too.
Suppose that came from Jim.
Supposedly, he took credit for the joke, so you can land it on him, right? Sure.
But yeah, Jim just needed to hog all the spotlight. No need for that.
I don't. Any other contenders? No.
I got one. John Belushi for leaving us with Jim Belushi.
Good call.
Okay, I don't know if that joke lands on that well. Let's go with Jim.
Why?
Yeah, I think that's legit.
He's doing his job. What do you mean?
There is shittiness to it. It
Yeah,
probably
the Nazis
is
were
not
doing their job.
Anyway,
Soon?
I'm gonna go with Jim. Jim's my contender here. Let's see. We already talked about the host. It's definitely the downgrade. What do you think the production schedule of this show is?
Whenever Jim is high enough, they do an episode.
No.
It's got to be. He doesn't live there all year round, according to Wikipedia. So it's like probably like anytime he's there, they might be filming something. But like you got to have a filming crew and stuff, so like that gets expensive. So I don't know.
There's also like a lot of like different storylines that are happening, which I don't think all happen within a day. I think that like this episode probably has like stuff from like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would buy that.
Like, how fast does that barn come up? Like,
That-
that's the production schedule of this show.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's from. Yeah, I was just gonna say that we didn't talk about them, but then I didn't care. They his confessionals are terrible. They're one of the worst confessionals I've ever seen. It's just Jim ranting in his fucking backyard for it must be hours. And I pity the person that has to edit all that out.
It's also like a wide angle camera for some reason.
Yeah,
Oh,
I knew there
yeah.
was something wrong with it, but that's definitely it.
It was
I didn't notice, but you're right. Is one of the reasons why I think it's so bad.
Definitely a little odd.
No, what do you think about these confessionals?
They're not even like what you'd expect normal confessionals. I think they're just for Jim to play producer, director, writer, actor, all in one, and tell you all the story points in the script that didn't get mentioned because he wants his story to get told.
Yeah, I mean, it's just him ranting in his backyard, as I said. And they just like, I pity the editor that has to edit that down. I don't know what's going on with Noah, but he's muted.
Oh, oops. Yeah, it's Jared. I would say Jared's the editor. He's got to learn the ropes.
He's from LA. He went to editing school.
Yeah, Harvard Westlake definitely has that editing class.
All right. Would this be better as a Quibi or a TikTok?
Yes.
And I think so, because then I could turn this off quicker.
Yeah. I actually think this could do well as a Quibi specifically, because you have a lot of celeb cameos coming in. And so I think you drop a celeb cameo once a minute, you're good to go, like with a good 4 or 5 minute little sprint.
With the news that TikToks are going to be 10 minutes long, are they just now the new Quibbies? Like Quibi had like a time limit of 10 minutes,
I've
That's
seen
where the
a
Quibi
decent
content
amount of
goes.
TikToks, and I can't think of one situation where 10 minutes is beneficial.
I agree with you, but just saying.
Yeah, no way. Like, they're not gonna. Yeah, we talked about this on like Slack, but I can't imagine like when you're going through TikTok, you want quick hits, right? Like you're not there for dinner, you're there for an appetizer.
Some
And
sort of quick bite, you might say.
Some might say that. And like I just can't imagine you're gonna be like, oh, let me watch this for 10 like it seems very inorganic.
Here's the thing. There is still a format of like TikToks where they're like for part 2. That's not going to stop with this extended length. Like they're just still going to do that so that like you go to their channel, you start engaging with the longer content. So it just doesn't make sense.
Maybe it's to combat the part 2. So you
But
just watch the whole thing.
They're going to try, but it's not going to stop it.
They just want to keep eating YouTube's lunch. Like they're now eclipsed YouTube. They want to take advantage of that gap and just keep on going. But
I am all for it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I want them to eat YouTube's
okay.
lunch, but it's got to make sense.
Okay, guys, so let's get back to this show. Let's
Do
talk
we?
about who's going to hook up next.
Hopefully nobody.
I think it's definitely going to be that Cow and Larry.
Wow. One thing I realized, there was only one woman in the show.
Was there a woman in the show?
Secretary.
The
Yeah,
secretary.
the secretary Nectar. Otherwise, there was zero.
Yeah, it's wild.
You're right.
Wow.
You're totally right. There's no women in the show for sure.
Wow.
I feel like this is true of a lot of Discovery Channel shows, but this one in particular
is very bad. Yeah, there's like 18 people in the show and one woman that's like not even really on the show.
No, and everyone else is white. Like, this is definitely not winning any diversity awards.
Yeah. Let's talk about drinking rules, because I think you need some drinking rules. And I think anytime you see a confessional with Jim just like ranting, take a drink.
Yeah, it's good.
Brian?
Anytime you hear a sexist joke, take a shot.
Noah, you got a drinking rule?
Anytime they flashback to the glory days, take a drink.
Max?
Every time you see somebody puffing on a PAX or something, you have to do the same.
Anytime they, I just had it in my head. Anytime they repeat something, take a drink.
Anytime they repeat something, take a drink.
Max. I didn't see PAX, but I did notice him smoking Cuban cigars all the damn time.
You think they were weed cigars?
No, Jim went out of his way to say they are Cuban cigars.
Oh,
that's just flexing.
I zoned out a bunch
It
of the
is
show.
flex.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I didn't see anyone doing a vape. You saw vapes in the episode?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jim Belushi was doing it in his raves. Rants and rave.
I think it was always a cigar.
That is,
No, it looked too small. I could be wrong.
the cigar could also be code for that, because
That's
you really
true.
can't show that on TV, I guess.
What if he like took a cigar and he carved out the middle one and put a little PAX in there?
Yes.
All right, let's do what we love about the show. I know it's going to be difficult, but Brian, what do you love about this show?
This thing had a lot of storylines, and the one thing I love is that this episode wrapped up nearly all of them. There's like one that's maybe going all the way through where it's like Jared, like family farm.
What do you mean? You got the Jared family farm. You still have the construction of the weed thing, and then the growing of the weed thing.
The growing of the weed things wasn't a thing for this. It was just
they were research. They're trying to get that research thing going.
Oh.
That's like a series storyline, like a season storyline for sure, or a series storyline.
Yeah, but like you had Fieri, you had the Nectar thing that's resolved. Like,
is the Dan Aykroyd storyline resolved?
Yes.
Noah, what do you love about the show?
One,
Noah?
it was on Discovery Plus, and I have the ad-free subscription, so that was a positive.
You love that it's on this network.
That was the first one. Didn't have to watch any ads outside of the show. The bunch of ads inside the show. The second one, like, I think it's just fun to see like this kind of old timer like getting into the weed game. I do think there's something there that's like entertaining, and I think it's fun to have that nostalgia of it, like getting those flashbacks of SNL and whatnot. So that's nice.
Max, what do you love about the show?
I love that this continues a time-honored Who Put This On tradition of marijuana shows always being awful, like bottom tier garbage.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Jim Belushi could save this. No, it did not.
That's true.
Is it Weed Month now?
Also, one other good thing, each season 3 episodes. They don't try to keep it going. I don't think they have enough content to keep it going, but
is this the American Sherlock?
Man, I love what I love. What do I love about this show?
What do you love?
I don't know. Dan Aykroyd was good.
Mm-hmm.
That jingle was really good. I love that jingle. That was the best.
Yeah,
I really did. I think that was one of the funniest moments in any show we've watched in a while. Yeah.
Wow.
Pure bonding like that is pretty good.
Like Brian and I literally sat and watched that scene like 10 times, and I would still laugh when that guy was like, "What?" I'm laughing about it now. So that's what I love about the show. I'd watch that clip over and over. Yeah. That's a great clip. So let's get to our last question. We have a stack ranking system of top, middle, bottom, third compared to other reality shows. Some people stack ranks in their stack rank. Brian, what do you got for me?
Bottom. You could not pay me to watch another episode of this.
Oh, should we try this?
I mean, I say that, but then I feel like you gave me $100.
Yeah. I think we could definitely get you to watch more. Max, what's your rating?
Bottom third, middle of the bottom. Dan Aykroyd saved this episode. Otherwise, it would be bottom of the bottom. But it's not. It's middle of the bottom.
Noah, what do you got for me?
Similar to Max, except with the addition of Guy Fieri. I think he really saved this show. Like, I love Dan Aykroyd, but it doesn't seem like he's made for reality TV, unfortunately. So bottom, middle, bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with bottom here. It's bad. It wouldn't. I think the real death knell of the show is that it's 40 minutes and they repeat themselves over and over again. Like I think it would be fine if it was edited better. Like it wouldn't be bad. Like I think it's bad now. So producers, call me up. I'll help you out. Just let me know. All right, so that's our discussion of this hot garbage. Let's get into some shout outs. Brian, you have a shout out this week?
I'm gonna watch a little bit of My Mom, Your Dad.
Oh, I finished the season of My Mom, Your Dad.
Oh,
I have not gotten there yet, but you can feel free to like talk about it and like spoil it.
I won't really
Okay.
spoil it, but it was fun. I think that's a great show. If you're looking
Yeah.
for some like family fun, like reality entertainment, can't go wrong. It's really fun.
yeah.
It like ends on a really great note. Like all like nothing bad happens in that whole show.
Wow.
Nothing. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's surprising.
yeah.
I thought
It
people
really is.
mysteriously disappear.
Yeah. Well, the guy does disappear, and then the girl comes in and replaces him, which was a little weird because she's wearing the same outfit, but you barely notice. It's not like, I guess, who knows what happens to that guy if he gets turned. What's that?
Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. Yeah, that we don't know. But yeah. I also watched another episode of that Ready to Love show. It's interesting. It's not great,
No.
but it is like a dating show with people in their real lives, and they kind of like date and talk day to day, and like at the end of the week somebody gets kicked out, and that's kind of what I want all dating reality shows to be. Like I don't want people stuck in mansions and like not in their day-to-day lives. Like this makes so much more sense that it's insane to me that this weird show on OWN is the only one doing it.
Mm.
Oh, dude, Terrace House does this.
That's true, but they all live in the same house. Like
True.
these people live in their own houses, they have their own lives, and they just
Mhm.
like go on dates. And
Yeah.
like one week the guys kick a girl off, and one week the girls kick a guy off. And it's like just seems very normal thing to do is to get 20 people together and see if they can come up with the best couple, and you kick people out that aren't ready to be in a relationship. That seems like a normal thing to do, like normalish thing to do. Now take 20 people and stick them in the same house and go about their daily life, sure. Or
Yeah.
does not sound like put 20 people in a house and not let them have their phones, give them copious amounts of alcohol, and see how many hookups you get. Doesn't sound normal at all.
No, you're right. I forgot about that aspect of it, so I'm glad you watched it. I definitely was curious, like how they executed it.
Yeah. And like you get kicked out because you're not ready to love. So it's like,
That's cool.
yeah, you're not making any like romantic connections in the house. See ya. It's
Nephew
really well.
Tommy, he knows how to do it.
Yeah, it's good.
I can't believe
Definitely.
you guys found another Steve Harvey cinematic universe show that you liked. What are the chances?
That is true. It is probably the best Steve Harvey universe show we've ever watched.
Yeah, I mean the judge set a new floor. Also, like,
If that was possible.
yeah.
All right. No, what's your shout out this week?
Yeah, wrapped up Dope Sick this week on Hulu, which chronicles the opioid pandemic and the Sacklers. Would recommend that. It's been good. And then I started season 2 of The Righteous Gemstones, and it is so enjoyable. I'm glad the whole season's out. I'm trying not to go too fast because it's like eating a cake that you love, but eating it too fast. You know, like you kind of want to enjoy it over a few days. But man, that is such a good show.
I've
Yeah,
caught an
it's
episode
good.
here and there, and yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
The sister is low key the best. Like, just pay attention to the sister.
Mhm.
She's the best.
I think the husband too. Her husband, I
Oh,
think steals it.
yeah. I mean, both of them are great for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Max, you got a shout out this week?
I may have mentioned this previously, but I've been watching. I just finished the first 2 seasons of Billions, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like an episode in or something.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. I also watched the first episode of Super Pumped, which is by the Billions guys, but it's about Travis Kalanick and Uber, and it sucks ass. I would not recommend it.
Ah, no, I was excited for that one.
You know what?
Yeah.
Noah, give it a shot, but it's like trying too hard.
It gave that, it definitely felt like that because I like Billions as well, right? And they were previewing it, and it definitely gave that aura of like, oh no, it's gonna like really lay it down of Travis being this like evil genius, and oh, is this the right thing to do? No, we need to grow. We need to get bigger. We need to dominate the market share. Just like,
Yeah, it's just doesn't have that Billions magic.
yeah,
It's not Billions.
no,
That's what we
Billions is great. Even I was very skeptical of the new season of Billions because, spoiler a little bit, like
Oh.
they've had Damian Lewis, Bobby Axelrod be the main antagonist for the first 5 seasons, and then they switch the antagonist to this new guy, and it's just like, oh man, like, am I really gonna bite this? And it's working. It's working, but like they're on a tightrope of how much they can make this drama last for.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. Next week, we're probably going to watch Next Level Chef. So I don't know which episode. So reach out to us at what you think the best episode is. And
Yeah.
if not, we'll just probably watch season 1, episode 1. Anyway, reach out to us on Twitter at @HooBitThisOn. You can find us on Facebook.com/HooBitThisOn. You can find us on TikTok at HooBitThisOn Podcast. You can email us questions and suggestions at whobitthison@gmail.com. And please rate us on iTunes and Spotify. And can I make this any longer? Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Ba 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 baram.